This looks better, side by side. Reese Hunter then gets the green flag, and we are off and running for the first of 12 laps. Reese Hunter down the inside in the dark coloured machine. Managed to get through with number 11, Jake Brooker, dropping into second position. Luke Archer was trying to make a move in the 111 kart as well. I don't think he quite made it through. He's still sitting in fourth position. Yes, he is, with that very distinctive fairing on the front end. But Reese Hunter making his bid for freedom early on, going into the left-handed hairpin at the start of the centre S's.
It was a very physical first turn, wasn't it? 3 abreast from turn 1 through Brian's Bend and into the dogleg, but it seems to have settled down as we've gone into and out of the centre S. And Reese Hunter off in a big way. So favourite for the win here in ProKart.
Just had no grip.
Just did not have the grip. He went to turn in, the car just snapped away from him and went straight on through the tyres. He's going to be a very wet and damp Reese Hunter there. The kart seems intact there, and he has rejoined, but he's quite about half a lap back now.
And you've got to ask yourself, is that fairing going to be compliant by the end of the race? That was a big hit.
Good point.
That's a big hit. That's left Jake Brooker leading. From Scott Tate, Connor Lucas up into third place, Josh Falkus in fourth, Luke Archer now in fifth from Steve Thompson in sixth position, then Ben Fallon's right there as well. There's barely 3 seconds between the top 7 as they go across the line, and there goes Reese Hunter, dropped 12 places on that last. Toby Dobson not making the start of the final.
I don't think there's been any problem with the front end of that Reese Hunter kart, and he's continued. Had a look as he came by. I think there's going to be no problem with that being compliant. But now it's a recovery drive for him.
15 seconds.
How far up the field he can get to?
15 seconds from the lead he is now. What do you reckon?
No.
It's a 12-lap race, so he's got a couple of extra laps.
No, these guys at the front are very, very quick. Jake Brooker, Scott Tate, Connor Lucas, Josh Falkus, Luke Archer, they've all been absolutely on their game today, and there's no way that he can make up that sort of ground. Remember, this isn't Reese's primary class. He's a very competent driver, but he's in the ProKart here for, I'm not sure, the first time. I don't think it'll be the first time, but he doesn't race these karts regular. And the guys at the front do, and they know these things inside out, and they also know this place inside out.
Jake Brooker down to a 1 minute flat, 1 minute .770 at the front of the field. He's pulled out 1.2 seconds. The battle is for second place. It's all behind him now. Scott Tate, Connor Lucas, the next pair of karts. Scott Tate then in the dark number 31. Connor Lucas with the 43 with a little bit of the orange on it. Slips in behind his prey. He's got the big jacket on. He's feeling the cold out there. Just wonder if that hood might just be catching the wind. You never know. It'll just be slowing him down a little bit.
Well, they do. The wind does affect these karts. I mean, your body, you sat there. It's a big umbrella, isn't it?
You're sitting out.
That's why you see guys tuck in.
Yes.
They put their head down. They make themselves smaller. You get through the air quicker. It's logical, isn't it? We learnt that at school in physics. Didn't we? Mr. Elliott.
Mr. Elliott.
Yeah.
I don't think he was. I don't think I was one of his better students. Took me twice to pass my O-level.
Well, like you said, John, a 12-lap race here for the final of the Senior Pro Karts. So it's a bit of a waiting game to a point. You don't need to make that do-or-die move to the very end.
Scott Tate and Connor Lucas both under the minute last time around, 59.996, 59.965, and they're actually closing down on Jake Brooker by fractions of a second, but this battle isn't holding them up at all. Down the inside, here comes the 43. Oh, brilliant manoeuvre for Connor Lucas. Set that up from the end of the S's and got to the inside, which meant he was on the right-hand side of the road for the first part of the back straight chicane and gets through. Little bit of a wave of the hand there from Connor as well, who goes into second place. Just a note on Reese Hunter, by the way, a 1 minute .771 last time around. He's not catching the leader. He's catching some of the karts ahead of him, but he's not got the pace. I don't think that kart is in top-notch condition after that collision with the tyres.
He would have to be a second a lap quicker than the guys at the front, and he's not even, without the car being perfect, he's not going to be able to get an advantage of a second. So he is going to come up the field, no doubt. But like I say, he's it's a far reach for him to see Reese on the podium. Jake Brooker, on the other hand, is in a very fine first place. Connor Lucas, Scott Tate, beginning to start tripping one another up, I think. We'll see how that pans out. As I said that, Connor Lucas moving a little bit away from Scott Tate in third, and that's allowing Josh Falkus in the O-plate back up onto the tail of Scott Tate through the horseshoe. Leader already through and across the line. There comes the second place kart of Conor Lucas. Scott Tate in third. Josh Falkner's through in fourth.
Falkner's hitting some form at exactly the right time. Down into the 59s, 59.4 last time around. Just a second and a half away from the karts ahead and closing in on them. Now, I said earlier on he'd had some flashes of brilliance in that zero kart, but he hadn't found the consistency for me that I expected of somebody with an O plate on the kart. That means he's a champion. Zero means a champion. And as I say, sort of flattered to deceive, but now he's putting it all together. And this is exactly the right time to do it in the final. This is where it counts. This is where the silverware is handed out at the end of this event. Top four, all under 60 seconds last time around. 59.1 for Conor Lucas. He was the fastest man on the track in second place, and he has to be at the moment. And they've pulled back some time to Josh Brooker, you know.
Yeah,
they're under a second now. And number 11 there, Jake Brooker, right at the front of the field, and he's got company. Jake Brooker, as Lucas goes down the inside, he was trying to get them to go ahead. That was a fabulous lap by Conor Lucas. Took another 6/10 and then down the inside at turn one.
Yeah, he's took the lead, hasn't he? He's caught him. He got onto his rear bumper, and then he made the move, and it was kind of textbook in fashion. We're going to see whether number 43 of Conor Lucas now can pull out a bit of a cushion.
I don't think he can.
It's not looking like he can he? Because the number 11 is glued. Jake Brooker glued to that rear bumper.
Here comes Scott Tate in third position, Joe. This is going to be three. And then Josh Falco is right there. He's lapping at the same sort of time. 59.2, 59 flat, 59.2, 59.3. The top 9 now, all lapped last time around in under a minute. And Reese Hunter, fastest man on the track last time around with a 58.6. Too little, too late. Wow. He's made it up into 12th position. Might get a top 10 finish, maybe a little more, but he's not going to get back to the podium positions.
58.6 is a very, very fast lap in these conditions. Any time under a minute in these conditions is pretty quick. And these boys are absolutely on it in these karts. They know these karts inside out. Very good ProKart drivers at the front of this field. Conor Lucas, Jake Brooker, Scott Tate. Now it's becoming a 3-car battle. We're already past half distance. 5 laps to go in this 12-lap final for these finals here at Warden Law. And the track seems to have evolved a little bit. Certainly looking a little less slippery than it was.
It's going to get cold, though, Joe.
Yeah, it is.
That's the problem. Then there your grip's going to go again.
Well, that's when you have to make that gamble on the grid when you're checking, when you're sorting your tyre pressure and your starting pressure. That's where it's going to come down to.
The other thing is, are we going to get down to a position where we get a bit of a dew point here and it makes the top of the circuit even greasy from that point of view? It's not too much cloud. I'm not sure about that. It's much darker than our cameras are showing here as we're live from trackside. RCTV bringing you the pictures. Radio Show Limited with Joe Bradley and John Hindhaugh on the commentary. Reese Hunter is into the top 10 at 10. He's just gone past Steve Nichols and Tom Lowther on that last lap around. So made up 2 positions. Hunter now 16.7 seconds away from the lead and lapping as quick, if not quicker than the leaders. He stemmed the tide and he's coming back through the top 10 after that uncharacteristic error earlier on when he misjudged his turn in and went streaming off into the tyres. But at the front of the field, Conor Lucas leads on the 43. And he's now has got that bit of breathing space. I wasn't convinced that he was going to get that, but he's edged that out very slowly. It's not like been one big difference lap to lap, has it?
It hasn't quite come as a surprise to me because of the way that he progressed and got onto the tail of the number 11. Then he's got by and he's continued making that progress. And obviously the progress he's making is drawing himself away from the number 11 of Jake Brooker.
And Josh Falkner's the fastest of the leading drivers last time. Not take that back. 58.9 from Conor Lucas at the head of the field, and that's why he's opened up a 1.1 second gap.
Yeah,
he's done a 59. He's done a 58.7. Conor Lucas at the front of the field. That's very impressive indeed. I think that is the Reese Hunter's dropped back. Reese Hunter has dropped back to 13th position and last. And what's happened there? He's got the fastest lap of the race. I wonder if he's decided to call it a day. I didn't see him pull off, so Joe, keep an eye for the
Well,
number one plate.
He's out in the next final, the Rotax, the senior Rotax. So he maybe have thought, I might as well conserve some energy here. Maybe he thought he was in his Rotax trying to turn into the chicane there.
Top 3 within 2.5 seconds as they went past us this time around with 2 laps to go.
Absolutely battering the curbs there, I noticed, in areas where...
I think you have to.
Well,
at this
certainly
stage.
At the dog leg.
Yeah.
Certainly at the dog leg.
Certain places you do. We've got 4 together again. Josh Falkus has found a great lap last time around, 58.7, and now the top 4 are within striking distance, under 4 seconds between the top 4.
Is Conor Lucas wearing a hoodie?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He's got an
anorak
anorak jacket on. It's not an oversuit. It's an anorak jacket with a padded hood sticking out behind. And I would have thought he would want to tuck that in under his collar.
It's not inflating, though, is it? I mean,
it is a bit.
Is it? That's well, you know what? I don't blame him, really. Stay warm rather than freezing out there. Tucks his head down, getting that, it's probably worth about 1/10 of a second, would you believe, down this long straight. Really is. It does have a massive effect. Last lap board has been shown, and it's Conor Lucas who's come good, and he's going to come good for just one more lap, and he's halfway around that already into the centre S.
If you're going to win a race with an overtake, his overtake was a cracking one to win a trophy
brilliant,
with.
Yeah, and I think that was a great drive up to, and the overtake that then came after he caught him. The overtake was pretty good. He came out the final turn and then dragged him, and then it was the braking area where he made it stick.
Yeah, down into turn 1. Jake Brooker in second place. He's got about a second on Scott Tate in third, but Scott Tate's been closed down on by Josh Falkus, so that's something we've got to keep an eye on in the background. No doubt about the winner. One more corner. Senior ProKart, big trophy, going to go to Conor Lucas. He gets the checkered flag. Second, there goes Jake Brooker. Scott Tate just holds on to Scott Tate, just holds on ahead of Josh Falkus by 0.3 of a second. And Josh Falkus, a 58.4 on the last lap, just not quite enough to get that one done. Fantastic run. Reese Hunter, I think he pulled off. Only completed 8 laps. Let's make up the top 10 for you. 4th position, Luke Archer on the 111. Ben Fallon in 6th on the 13. Then Steve Thompson on the number 2. Mark Tate on the 81. 9th, David Brown on the 55. And 58 was Steve Nichols. And that made up the top 10. Well, let's have another. Can we have another look at that? Quick look at that overtake before we move on, if possible, because that was a cracking piece of stuff. Down into the first corner, he dragged all the way up to the leader. No contact there. Hugged the white line, and Conor Lucas went through to take the victory. Smashing stuff from Conor on the 43.
Senior ProKart winner here, Conor Lucas. Conor, horrible conditions here today. It's all about momentum in ProKart. How on earth did you keep the momentum going in that one?
Well, changed the tyres in the third heat, so give me a lot more grip, and it was dry for the final, so I managed to hook it up.
So the tyre, so you put a new set of tyres on, did you?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, and so the track was dry enough to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Tell us a little bit about the highlight of your race, because there was quite a bit happened.
In the final.
Yeah.
Just catching Jake for the lead.
Yeah.
And then once I'd done it, just gapping him bit by bit.
Yeah, I saw that. So you caught him. We were talking about whether or not you would pull away. I was proved right. You did pull away. Did you know that was going to happen? Did you know that he wasn't going to have enough to keep with you?
Well, I knew Jake was fast, but I put some good laps together after I overtook him, and then gapped him. So, yeah.
You knew what you had to do.
Yeah.
Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Congratulations, winner of the Senior ProKart there. On to the Senior Rotax now.